So TPMS stands for Tire Pressure Monitoring System. It's a federally mandated sensor that is located in each tire of your vehicle, and it basically tells you the tire pressure in each tire, and they all have a threshold. So different vehicles, depending on if it's a truck or if it's a car, you know, some of your bigger trucks have a higher pressure that it's required. So it has a threshold that once it drops below that, it will notify you and allow you to know that it's you have a low tire. So the way you check that is you can just roll through the screen on most of your cars, and it'll tell you what each tire is. And when the air in the tire will expand and contract. So when it gets hot, it expands, so that pressure rises. When it gets cold, it contracts and that pressure drops. So generally you'll see that light come on in the morning. As you drive, it'll then go out because the tire heats up and the pressure expands. So the best thing is there's a placard inside the door jamb of the driver door that you can tell where your tires should be set at. If you're unsure of that, you can obviously come by here and we'll check that for you. It's not a problem, but just make sure that gauge doesn't read 0. That would mean that you have a really low tire and probably would damage the wheel of the tire if you drove on it. So if it's just a couple pounds low, you know, if it's in the 20s, generally that's what you'll see with small passenger cars. What you want to do is either add air if you have a means of doing that, or get to a shop or a tire store and add air, because it can cause fuel mileage issues, drivability issues, and like I said, if it's low enough, it can damage the tire and the wheel. So.
And when people add this air, how much would you say they need to add?
So again, that goes back to the placard in the door. It'll let you know where that tire needs to be set. Most of your passenger cars are 32 to 35 pounds. Again, some of your bigger trucks are anywhere from 60 to 80 pounds is what it would require in that tire. So just take a look on that gauge in your car, and like I said, depending on what it reads as opposed to what the placard says it should be, you just go from there. And most tools that you use to add air now have a built-in gauge on them, so you can see just how much you're putting in.
And as for people who may wait till the last minute and they need a new tire, or they just need help getting the air back up in them, how expensive would that be?
Most of the time that's free. You can, we do it here. We'll gladly check your tires for free. I know there are a couple other businesses around town, Discount Tires, one of them, they do free air pressure checks. You pull through there, you don't even have to get out of your car. So it's not an expensive deal, as long as, again, it's not low enough to damage the tire or the wheel. That can get quite expensive, just depending on what year, make, and model the vehicle is. So.
And is there anything else people need to do to prepare for the winter when it comes to their vehicles?
Yes, so generally around winter time, people start noticing the TPMS lights come on. The other big thing is the coolant system in the car. So the antifreeze. It should be a 50-50 mix of antifreeze and water. And for most vehicles, that coolant system's never been open. There's never been a repair done, so it should maintain that. But if there's ever a leak and you just add water back to it and you do this over time, your ratio gets off. So you'll have more water than you do have antifreeze in it, and you can run into issues with that freezing up, damaging the engine, damaging other parts. So it's always good to make sure that you maintain that 50-50 mix. And like I said, that's something that generally, if your vehicle's not very old, you shouldn't have to check it very often. But if you drive a vehicle that's a few years older, and you know you've had some repairs on the coolant system, then that's something that you should definitely have checked. I recommend about every 100,000 to do a coolant system flush, and that's where we go in, we remove all that old coolant. We flush through the system. Over time, it can get some trash in there and dirt and whatever. So we flush through that, fill it back to the proper level with the correct ratio of antifreeze to coolant. That's a big one that happens at winter time. One of the other things that people notice is dead batteries. They'll come out and the vehicle don't want to start, or it's sluggish to start, and they didn't have a problem up until that point. The cold weather does put a strain on the vehicle wanting to start, so it needs a good, strong battery to turn that engine over. And that's another thing during wintertime. A lot of people, you know, hey, first cold snap, it takes out the battery. And that you can have your battery tested throughout even if you're not having a problem, and you can kind of tell as it's gradually going down so that it doesn't catch you like that. But if it does, generally you can just jump start the vehicle and then, you know, get it to a shop like mine, or I believe O'Reilly's does a free battery check, and if the battery fails, they'll replace it for free there. So the coolant, the tire pressure, and the battery is generally what most people see a big problem with in the winter. On your diesel pickups, we're fortunate here, it doesn't really get super cold, but we have had it to where it drops down in the teens and in the single digits, and when it does that, diesel fuel, just from its chemical makeup, can tend to gel, and once it starts to do that, the pump can't push it like it needs to be. So they make fuel additives that you can just pour in the tank of fuel, an anti-gel agent that prevents that. So those are what I would consider the big ones that you're going to see on a day-to-day basis. Again, we're fortunate here in East Texas to not run into the issues of you know, where it's below freezing for multiple days at a time. That creates a total another issue. But those are what I would consider the four big ones that we see here in East Texas.